Hey guys, Dave here. Well, everybody loves meat and potatoes. Well, just about everybody anyway. But I got to thinking, what if a guy were to grate up some potatoes and make a nice flat sheet out of them and bake them up and then cut them into sections and then make up a nice meat dish, put them in the middle, roll them up with some cheese over the top and a bit of dipping sauce. That would be so nice. So that's what we're going to do today. So let's get started. Right off the bat, we've got our ingredients as always. So we've got some mozzarella, some ground beef, Tex-Mex cheese, eggs, garlic, onions, flour, a bit of cilantro here and parsley, Italian seasoning, paprika, tomato paste, bell pepper, potatoes, and of course, salt and pepper. Okay, to begin with, I'm going to grab up some potatoes, and these are just some russet potatoes, but you can use whatever you want, and we're going to peel these up. Now our potatoes are all peeled up. I'm going to go onto the blade holder of my food processor with the grating blade. Go ahead and slip this on, top on, and we'll lock it down. In with that potato. And this does an absolutely fantastic job, guys. Just look at this, perfectly grated up for us. And we'll just put our grated up taters into a bowl. And I should add too, guys, that I've added some water to this bowl because we want to get some of that starch out. Now we've left our shredded taters here soak for a few minutes. I am just going to grab them up and I'm just going to give them a good wring off just to get that water and some of that starch out of there. You could use a cloth too, but I'm just going to do it like this. And I just have to say here, guys, I am impressed with these shredded potatoes. They're really a nice texture. I don't know whether it's the potato themselves or the food processor, probably the food processor, but I like this. Alrighty then, over top of those potatoes, I'm going to go with 2 eggs cracked over the top. Then I'm going to chop up some parsley here, and this is what I've stole fresh from the garden that's beginning to grow. Finally, we're getting some decent weather. Go ahead and toss that parsley in. Gives it that nice green effect. After that, I'm going to throw in 3 tablespoons of all-purpose flour, kind of help bring things together here. Of course, a little bit of salt. I don't know, half a teaspoon, 3/4 of a teaspoon, and some ground black pepper. Also, what I think I'm going to do is throw in a bit of olive oil, maybe about a teaspoon, something like that. And of course, I'm going to grab up my spoon and we're going to mix everything together here. Alrighty then, what I've done now, my friends, is I've taken a baking sheet, I put some parchment paper on, and I'm just going to spray a little bit of olive oil onto here just to make sure things don't stick. Something like that. Now we're going to grab up that mixture and place it onto the baking tray. Then grab up my spatula and just kind of spread this out. Want kind of a rectangle shape here. Okie dokie, I've taken a few minutes here and spread this out evenly. And it's about, I don't know, about 3/8 of an inch thick, something like that. Then I'm just going to tuck these edges in so they're nice and neat. But I think it's looking pretty darn good myself. Yeah, that's about perfect, just like that. That's about what you want. Now this is going to go into a 360-degree Fahrenheit preheated oven for about 20 or 25 minutes. Well, that's baking up. I'm going to go onto the food processor with the chopping blade, and we're going to add in half a small chopped onion, 3 cloves of the old garlic, slip the top on, and we're just going to pulse this up. And that's pretty easy peasy if you ask me, guys. Fantastic job again. And while we're at it, I'm going to go back onto the food processor with the coarse shredding blade. And of course, top on. Now in with some mozzarella because we're going to need this. And there you have it. Once again, some beautifully grated up mozzarella. And the great thing about using the food processor is, you can choose your own mozzarella, whatever you want. I like to get a fairly good mozzarella. Today's video has been brought to you by Magiccos, and today we're using the FP425. This unit has a beautiful design, powerful motor, 13 speeds, a 14-cup work bowl, an extra large chute, non-stick suction cups, and much more. And I'll put everything in the description section below. Now and only now, it's time to make up our meat sauce. So I'm going to go into a pan over medium-high heat. about a pound of ground beef. We'll just kind of break this up a little bit. And while our beef is frying up, I'm just going to grab up a red bell pepper and I'm just going to cut a few slices off this. And I'm just going to chop this up. Now, while I'm frying this up, guys, I'm going to try and make sure there aren't any real large chunks of ground beef in here because it's going to go into that potato bake and we don't want to poke them through. So I'm going to, break this up as much as I possibly can. And I think I'm going to go to the extent of even using this plastic masher just to make sure I don't have any large chunks. I know you can get one of those breaker-upper thingies, but this does a pretty good job too. There we go, looking better now. So I'm just going to shove everything one side, and we are going to throw that onion and garlic we chopped up in, along with those bell peppers. And we'll just stir and saute this for a few minutes until that wonderful aroma fills the air of onion and garlic. And of course, until those bell peppers begin to soften a little bit. We're looking pretty good here, so I'm just going to mix everything together. Now we're smelling good. Throw in a couple of tablespoons of tomato paste. You can use puree too, but I'm going to use tomato paste. Give it a stir around until that tomato paste just covers that meat, bell peppers and onion and garlic. Season things up with a bit of salt. I don't know, but a teaspoon, something like that. Some of the old ground black pepper, another teaspoon. Smoked paprika, and use the smoke because it's much better if you can at all. And some Italian seasoning. I wasn't going to use Italian seasoning, but I just couldn't help myself. So again, we'll stir and fry until that seasoning activates. And now what I'm going to do for some good measure is throw in a little bit of Tex-Mex cheese. You can just use cheddar, totally optional, or you can just leave it out. Once again, stir and fry until that cheese incorporates in there. And we is pretty much done, my friends. So we're just going to kill the heat and we'll set this aside. And at this point in time, I think our potatoes are pretty much done here. This has been about 25 minutes. Just give these a lift. Yeah, I think they're done. I'm just going to let this cool down. Now we've cooled a little bit. Well, this is what we want. Something like this. It's nice and pliable and rolly and stuff. This is about perfect. Actually, I'm quite impressed with the way it turned out. Now what I'm going to do is grab up my pizza cutter. You can use a knife too. And then I'm just going to cut this straight down the center. Something like that. Make sure I get a good cut here. And then I guess I'm going to cut this into like 3 sections, something like that. And here's what we're going to end up, guys. Something like this that we can just put the meat in and roll it up. That's going to be perfect. Just love this. Okay, guys, these have cooled off, so I'm just going to set this on a plate. And I'm going to grab up some of that filling. We'll just put it on the one edge, something like this. You don't want to really overfill it too much. Then I'm just going to grab up one end, and we're just going to kind of roll this up. Just something like this. That's about perfect. And then what I'll do is just transfer this onto a baking sheet. Now we're going to go over the top with that mozzarella cheese that we grated up. Okay, back into the oven for a few minutes, just until that cheese melts down. After a few minutes in the oven, that cheese is melted down, and just look at these. Absolutely incredible. Wow, I just love them. All right, guys, let's plate these up. Oh, they're looking good. Okay, we shall garnish this up with a bit of greenage just to make them look all fancy-like. And there you have it, my friends, our baked potato rolls stuffed with beef and cheese. Everybody is going to love this. Great snack, great finger food, great party food. Okay, guys, just a few tips. You can adjust the seasoning and the meat sauce accordingly, or just, put in the meat sauce what you like. In terms of the dipping sauce, a nice marinara sauce would be good. You could also use the chili sauce, and you can vary the type of potato you use. But believe me, these are going to be good. All right, let's grab one of these up, guys, and just look at this. Doesn't this look incredible? Potato and meat. Oh, just everything you could imagine. All right, let's do the old taste testing. These are good. I just love the texture. And I love the meat inside. You definitely have to make these up. Like I say, great party food, great finger food. And if you do, leave us a comment because I love to read them. Most of all, give us a like, helps the channel out. Subscribe, why not? It's free. Don't forget to check out the Magiccos food processor in the description below. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay safe, and we'll see you in the next video.